What good folks, it's Dark19 and welcome back to the finale of What If Naruto Was the Fire Daimyo Harbinger. So like, comment, subscribe and share, but besides all that, enjoy the video. Chapter 7. The transition. The battle was over. It had been over for quite a few days, but the aftermath of it was no less impacting. With Orochimaru dead, his forces captured or killed, things within the village were much better than if Tsunade had stayed the course of siding with the Sannin. Of course, the reason for that not happening was all due to one person, and one person only. The people of Konoha had to thank for it. Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto, the harbinger of the fire daimyo. Naturally, the majority of the people would never thank the boy, much less admit it was because of his actions that Konoha wasn't worse off with a few damaged buildings, and a few deaths. When the two former Hokages of Konoha suddenly appeared to aid in the fighting off of its enemies, many assumed the Sandaime had something to do with it, and praised the announced dead Hokage for making what they had believed was the ultimate sacrifice to bring them back. Before their beliefs on the matter were violently shattered when Hashirama and Tobirama told them what really happened in the fight between Hiruzen and Orochimaru. Of course, denial was the first reaction many had, denouncing Naruto and his assistants in defending Konoha, and even calling for his death for being the one responsible for killing the third soon after Orochimaru died. Naturally, they were ignored by the fire daimyo, who was overseeing the transition of who would be the new Hokage. Danzo had tried to sneak himself into the role by having a small talk with the daimyo and stating why he should take over for Hiruzen due to their differences in how things should be run in Konoha. Naruto had been there, of course, and had stated having ninja as mindless drones with the Hokage being their overall brain of a commander just made the leader of the village an even bigger target. Not to mention that Danzo himself was roughly the same age as Hiruzen, while the other Kages from the other villages, with the exception of the Tsuchikage, and the late Kazekage, since he was now dead, were all young men in the prime of their lives. Besides, Danzo's attempt to become the next Hokage was already invalid on itself, since the fire daimyo had already decided, and stated Itachi would be the Gondaime Hokage. Something that made Danzo, Homura, and Koharu very unhappy when they were told this news. The Uchiha clan was ecstatic, of course, since one of their own got what they felt was always meant to be theirs since the days when Uchiha Madara was alive and part of the village. From their point of view, it was about damn time they got one of their own in the seat of power. Speaking of the Uchiha clan, the two Senju brothers finally met Uchiha Itachi at Naruto's request, since Tobirama was skeptical about the young man being worthy of the hat. The second Hokage was surprised to see such a humble Uchiha, who clearly did not have the arrogance of his clan, and clearly embraced the will of fire like they had tried to pass down to the next generation. As for Hashirama, he was happy someone from the Uchiha clan was chosen to become the next Hokage. The former Shodaime Hokage remembered how he had an argument with Tobirama regarding the Uchiha clan being untrustworthy prior to Madara going rogue, and even telling his brother that Madara would succeed him as Hokage upon his death. Only for Madara to hear this and leave Konoha, which led to Hashirama following, and fighting the man at what was now called the Valley of the End. After talking things over with the Uchiha prodigy, both former Hokages believed Itachi was indeed worthy of the title of Hokage of Konoha, and wished him many long years of prosperity during his time running the village. Unfortunately, that was the good part of the transition for Itachi becoming Hokage, and soon had to deal with the bad. Namely, his predecessor's little nest of vipers he kept close enough to use, but kept away just enough to avoid being bitten by them. Konoha Hospital. At the moment, Naruto was walking beside Uchiha Itachi and being flanked on either side by Hashirama and Tobirama while in the hospital. They were here for the purpose of seeing one Senju Tsunade and getting to the bottom of their current investigation regarding the woman's genjutsu enhanced betrayal of the Senju clan's beliefs. Many gave them a wide berth as they headed for the intended room where the woman was resting, only to be stopped by two Onbu ninja guarding the room. "Sorry sir, but you cannot enter," said one Onbu in an emotionless tone. "On whose authority?" asked Naruto with a frown, since only one person had it and he wasn't here with him. "The new Gondaime Hokage of Konoha." "Shimura Danzo," replied the second Onbu in an equally emotionless tone. "Shimura Danzo is not the new Hokage." "I am," stated Itachi, while the two Onbu said nothing for a moment. "All the same, we have orders to keep anyone not authorized to enter out of the room until ordered," said the first Onbu, while Naruto's eyes narrowed. "Even if Danzo becoming the new Hokage was remotely true, then you would know that I cannot be impeded by him. My rank as the daimyo's harbinger is higher, and as such you will let us all pass on my order alone. Or do the two of you wish to be arrested on the grounds of treason?" challenged Naruto, with both Onbu glancing at each other. "Danzo-sama's orders are absolute as the one true Hokage. We do not recognize you or your authority," stated the second Onbu, while slowly moving his hand for a kunai and his partner doing the same. Only for both Onbu guards to be knocked down by the two Senju brothers. Getting even more suspicious, Naruto opened the door to the hospital room, and saw Danzo was there with another Onbu near Tsunade. The said Onbu had a sealing brush and ink in hand while Danzo watched with a sense of satisfaction on his face, until he saw Naruto with the others beside him. I ordered no one to enter without my permission. What are you four doing here? Asked Danzo while Naruto snapped his fingers and sent the two former Hokages to work. One knocked the Onbu out and the other pinned Danzo to the wall with an iron grip on the old war hawk's throat. First, you have no right to question me about why I am here, Danzo. I outrank you in just about every aspect of life. Second, you have no right to command Onbu to keep me, or the rightful Hokage appointed by the fire daimyo himself, out of this room. And third, what were you doing here with this Onbu holding that sealing brush? Countered Naruto before walking over to Tsunade and examined the woman with a currently incomplete seal on her forehead. I do not have to answer to you, boy. I am the Gondaime Hokage no matter what the fire daimyo says. I am the only one qualified to be the leader of this village, replied Danzo before gagging under Tobirama's grip. You never did learn to stop reaching for something when it was out of your reach, brat, remarked Tobirama while Naruto continued to examine the seal on Tsunade. What were you doing to my granddaughter? Demanded Hashirama to the Onbu, but all he got was silence in the end. Don't bother, Hashirama-sama. The Onbu is clearly from Root. They have seals on their tongues to keep them silent when interrogated by anyone seeking information they might know about their mission or about Danzo, said Naruto while seeing what the seal was meant to do once completed. It was Genjutsu reinforcement seal. Do you need help removing the seal? Asked Itachi while Naruto shook his head no. No. I just have to wipe it off. It's incomplete. This seal was clearly designed to reinforce the Genjutsu someone put on Tsunade years ago. Meaning Danzo knows who put the Genjutsu on her in the first place and was trying to make sure it stayed on in case it was ever discovered by us. No doubt done to prevent it from being broken, replied Naruto before wiping it off the woman and turned to face Danzo. You dare do that to my family? You have some nerve, brat, exclaimed Tobirama while Hashirama snapped the next of the Onbu he held in his hand and tossed the body aside. I have every right. The position of Hokage was to be mine. It would have been mine. All I had to do was ensure Orochimaru killed Hiruzen, then I moved in to kill him to become Konoha's hero, and in the chaos of it all I would make Tsunade seem incapable of taking the seat knowing Jiraiya would turn it down. I could have convinced the fire daimyo I am the only one capable of taking the position of Hokage to mold in my image, replied Danzo with Tobirama now looking livid at this betrayal. Under what right do you believe the title of Hokage should be yours? Asked Tobirama with Danzo gagging under the former Hokage's tight grip. The fact I have survived 3 shinobi wars. I have done everything in my power to protect Konoha from the shadows. Killing our enemies left and right. Crushing future enemies before they become our enemies. I have fought to make our village the most powerful of all the shinobi villages and I deserve what rightfully belongs to me for my years of loyal service, explained Danzo before he was punched violently in the gut by Tobirama. You will never be worthy of becoming Hokage. I was told all about your actions since Hashirama and myself departed this world, Danzo. Turning ninja into emotionless drones who obey only you and your commands while killing everyone who thinks differently from you. Such actions are not someone worthy of being called the Hokage of Konoha. They are the actions of a narrow-minded tyrant, stated Tobirama while Danzo scowled further. Your ways are done, Tobirama-sensei. Such views died with you a long time ago, said Danzo before he was hit again by the former second Hokage. Our ways may be over, Shimura Danzo, but I will not allow yours to continue either, countered Tobirama before being thrown to the ground. I will take him to Ibiki and inform of his actions. I leave your mission to free Tsunade from her madness in your capable hands, Itachi, remarked Naruto before putting chakra cuffs on the old man and forced the warhawk to stand. Of course, Naruto. Just be careful. Danzo has allies everywhere in the village, replied Itachi while watching the scowling old warhawk being forced out of the room by Naruto. To think Konoha has fallen so far since our time, remarked Hashirama while gazing at his granddaughter now with sorrow. It is not your fault, brother. We left a foundation to build from, but left it in the hands of those who did not know how to maintain, or properly building from it. We have a chance now to correct the mistakes left following our death and with a competent Hokage now in the form of an Uchiha. What a world we have come to see upon our return from the land of the dead, replied Tobirama while seeing Itachi activate his eyes while staring at the Senju woman. You need to wake her up. It seems to be tied to her being awake, said Itachi, as he did not see the possible genjutsu that Naruto suspected was cast on her, and was what made the woman reject the boy as her godson. With Hashirama nodding, he slowly shook his granddaughter awake, and could only smile at the sight of seeing the seemingly innocent face of his child's child waking up. To see Tsunade become a full-grown woman in her own right despite everything that had happened to her in life and with this genjutsu possibly corrupting her mind. Grandfather? What are you doing here? Where am I? Asked Tsunade, as she sat up, and looked around to see her granduncle along with Uchiha Itachi with his eyes active. Hello Tsunade-chan. You've grown up to become a beautiful woman. Just like I had hoped, replied Hashirama before giving Tsunade a hug. I missed you. I'm so glad you are here. But, how are you here? How is granduncle here too? Asked Tsunade while confused by this and saw Itachi frown. Strange. The signs of a genjutsu being placed on Tsunade are indeed there, but it seems to be lying, dormant. As if there was a specific trigger involved and needed to bring that hatred for Naruto out. I wonder, thought Itachi while watching the woman closely. We were originally brought back by your former teammate Orochimaru to fight your former sensei and our former student Hiruzen. But things quickly changed with the help of someone unexpected from Mito's clan, answered Tobirama while Tsunade frowned. Grandmother's clan? Who are you? Wait. You mean, him? That demon brat? Asked Tsunade angrily while Hashirama frowned, Tobirama scowled, and Itachi narrowed his eyes. As I thought. The trigger for the genjutsu only activates when Naruto is mentioned in some shape or form, thought Itachi while watching the woman's face getting angrier with each passing second. How can you say that, Tsunade? He is family. On your grandmother's side. How can you betray her and the Uzumaki clan? Questioned Hashirama while Tsunade looked at him in shock and even greater anger. Kushina is dead because of him. Mito entrusted her with Kyuubi and was like a daughter to me. When that brat was born, she died at the hands of the fox that would have stayed in her had Naruto not been born, exclaimed Tsunade with Hashirama shaking his head. You know that is not true, Tsunade. Your blind hatred for the boy is misplaced and goes against our clan's ways, said Tobirama while Tsunade glared at him. He is a monster. He robbed me of Kushina. My surrogate daughter. I will not tolerate his existence, exclaimed Tsunade angrily while Itachi's eyes began spinning. The genjutsu surrounding Tsunade is getting stronger. The more people challenge her about Naruto, the angrier she gets, and furthers her anger to the point where even strong counterpoints against her reasons are denied their merits within the mind. There is only one person with the Sharingan capable of this. Oh Shisui, did you really have to go that far? Did Hiruzen put you up to it? Knowing you would do anything he asked of you for the sake of his vision? Or was it Danzo? Did all three of them conspire against Naruto in order to keep him completely dependent on Konoha regardless of the abuse he would have suffered through without support from those that mattered? Thought Itachi while he saw the genjutsu continue to make the woman angrier at the mention of her being wrong about Naruto. Enough. Tsunade, I am giving you a choice. I will not offer an alternative to this and I am only offering this to you one time. You either abandon your hatred for Naruto-kun or I remove you as member of the Senju clan, and, as my granddaughter, said Hashirama with Tsunade and even Tobirama looking at him in shock. What? Whispered Tsunade in shock. Brother? Asked Tobirama while Hashirama raised his hand to silence him. What is stronger, Tsunade? Our clan, which has long since promoted friendship and love for our family. Or your misplaced hatred for Naruto-kun? I am not kidding, Tsunade. You may be my granddaughter and I love you. But, I will not love you as family anymore if you make the wrong decision here, said Hashirama while Tsunade looked devastated by this choice. You would choose him over me? Asked Tsunade with Hashirama nodding. With the way you are acting toward Naruto? A Jinchuriki like your grandmother was at one point in her long life? Like his mother Kushina from what I was recently told? Yes, answered Hashirama with Tsunade gritting her teeth angrily. Wait Hashirama-sama. Let's not be hasty. Let's not make this genjutsu on her help in making the wrong decision here, said Itachi before putting his hand Tsunade head and made a hand sign. Genjutsu? What genjutsu? Thought Tsunade, as she stared into Itachi's Sharingan eyes now spinning hypnotically in front of her before she felt something inside break, and the vast amount of anger she felt toward Naruto was gone. There. Now we will see if the hatred she has for Naruto-kun is natural or there because of the genjutsu placed on her by a member of my clan, said Itachi while Tsunade now clutched her head again. What genjutsu? What are you talking about? Asked Tsunade while shaking her head and shaking off the sudden mental confusion she felt right now. Someone put a genjutsu on you years ago. It was designed to make you hate one person in particular by the name of Naruto. Though I know this genjutsu well. The only way the genjutsu can fully work, however, is if the person is weak-minded, or they, said Itachi while finding himself hesitant to finish in the presence of the two Senju brothers. Or what? demanded Tsunade with Itachi sighing and saw both former Hokages nod to finish the sentence. Or the person already hated the intended target, but kept such feelings suppressed for the most part. As long as the hatred for Naruto was there from the start, the genjutsu had something it could attach to in the form of an anchor to fulfill its purpose, finished Itachi while Tsunade flinched and looked away. Tsunade, do you really hate Naruto for what happened? Do you honestly blame him for that night? Even now? Questioned Hashirama with Tsunade not looking at him until he forced her to look at him by holding the woman's face in his hand. Yes. In some ways, he is responsible for Kushina's death and Kyuubi's attack. You know what happens when female Jinchuriki get pregnant, answered Tsunade with Hashirama sighing and shaking his head while Tobirama let out a sound from his throat. Tsunade, I asked Naruto about the night of his birth. What the Bijou told him. Showed him. A masked Uchiha claiming to be Uchiha Madara attacked that night. He ripped Kyuubi right out of the seal and forced him to attack Konoha with a Sharingan. Now while I do not believe Madara is alive behind that mask, I do believe a rogue Uchiha was there, and this rogue Uchiha was responsible for the chaos that happened. Not Naruto, said Hashirama with Tsunade crying tears now while denial still existed in them for a second before she broke down and hugged her grandfather. Oh Kami. What have I done? I have betrayed everything that made me a Senju and part Uzumaki, exclaimed Tsunade into her grandfather's chest. There is still time to correct this Tsunade. You can still connect with Naruto. You can still be a godmother to him, said Hashirama in a comforting tone. I know. And I will make this up to him. Whatever he asks of me. I will pay him back, whispered Tsunade slightly, but it was heard by all three of them. What I want to know is how this Uchiha managed to use his eyes on you. When did it happen? Asked Tobirama while Tsunade thought back to the only possible meeting she had where an Uchiha was present. And at the time she didn't truly hate Naruto for what he held. Flashback 3 days after the Kyuubi's attack, the boy should be raised by me sensei. I am the closest thing he has to family, said Tsunade while sitting in the Hokage's office with Anbu stationed in it. She had let Shizune stay outside with Tonton because the girl shouldn't see her angry in the event this talk went bad. The boy needs to form bonds with Konoha while growing up. Tsunade. You are ready to pack up and leave. Are you telling me that you would stay in Konoha for Naruto? Asked Hiruzen while smoking his pipe. If necessary, then yes. Yes I would, replied Tsunade with Hiruzen frowning slightly. Even though the boy is somewhat responsible for Kushina's death? After all, his birth did cause the demon sealed inside of her to get out, and cause untold destruction upon Konoha, reminded Hiruzen in a subtle way while Tsunade frowned a bit and looked away since the mentioning of Kushina hurt. It was also because she looked away like Hiruzen knew Tsunade would. Did the Senju woman miss the subtle hand motion to the Anbu masked Uchiha? He's just a child. He shouldn't be punished just for being born, spat Tsunade angrily before glaring at her sensei. I am not saying he should, Tsunade. But your hidden tone of anger suggests differently. Hence why you can't raise him, countered Hiruzen while the Anbu masked Uchiha worked the special power of his Sharingan eyes discreetly on the woman while he was talking. So what if I am a bit angry? You would be too over the loss of family and loved ones over the years. Your clan hasn't been dwindling into extinction, exclaimed Tsunade with her anger rising while Hiruzen stayed calm. And Kushina was family to you, Tsunade. Uzumaki clan blood binds the two of you in a sense through your grandmother. She was the daughter you always wanted and now that person is gone because of Naruto. If I give him to you, he wouldn't survive to live to see his 4th or even 5th birthday, added Hiruzen while seeing the genjutsu slowly taking hold and filling the woman's eyes with anger. You're damn right he wouldn't. If it were up to me right now, I would break every bone in the brat's body, and throw it into the nearest incinerator, exclaimed Tsunade with her anger reaching its zenith and smashing her fists against the desk. But it's not up to you, Tsunade. It's up to me. Naruto is a Jinchuriki. Meaning he is our weapon of war. Or will be in the future once carefully conditioned to serve Konoha no matter what. I can't have you in Konoha right now given your state of mind. Go out into the world. Go drink. Gamble. Use your talents in the medical field to help others where they are needed. Take Shizune with you. She wants to be a great medic one day, so teach her what you know. Encouraged Hiruzen while the Uchiha Sharingan eyes did their work in influencing Tsunade. I think I will. This village has too many bad memories for me. So long as the brat is here in Konoha, I will not, stated Tsunade before she got up and headed for the door. Don't worry about a thing, Tsunade. Everything is under control here, added Hiruzen with Tsunade nodding at him before leaving the room. End flashback, I see. So it was Uchiha Shisui. He told me once how the Hokage has him perform guard duty in his office around the time when Tsunade was in Konoha, said Itachi now that he had enough evidence to arrest his friend for treason. Using his eyes on a citizen of Konoha was bad enough, but to use it on a member of another clan was worse. Even more so when using it to commit treason. I take it you will arrest him for this crime? Asked Tobirama with Itachi nodding. I intend to do it, personally. Replied Itachi while heading out of the room to carry out his sworn duty to protect Konoha. Starting by protecting it from itself. Go with him, brother. I need to stay here and make sure Tsunade-chan gets her head on straight again by the time we get out of here, said Hashirama with Tobirama nodding before leaving the room to join up with Itachi. I'm sorry, grandfather. I'm sorry I was such a disappointment to you. Even without the genjutsu, I still hated Naruto for what I assumed he did when brought into this world by Kushina, whispered Tsunade with Hashirama gently rubbing the back of the woman's head lovingly. You are not a disappointment to me, Tsunade. While I was not able to see you grow up to become a competent ninja, I have heard of all the good things you've done for Konoha prior to this. You have become the best medic in the entire world. Your skills in saving lives is second to none. The only thing holding you back now is your pride, your guilt, and your fear that everyone around you will die. You must let go of your pride, your guilt, and your fears in order to achieve a means of breaking down the barriers you have created for yourself, replied Hashirama while Tsunade looked up at him in shock. How do I do that? Asked Tsunade while Hashirama smiled and kissed her forehead. Don't worry. While I have time in this world once more, I will teach you what to do, and when I'm through you will be even stronger, replied Hashirama while almost mentally thanking Orochimaru for using the Edo Tensei, but felt the Sannin was unworthy of it, and decided to mentally thank Naruto for altering the seals in place so they could be alive long enough to fix some very big mistakes. With Naruto and Danzo, many were shocked to see Danzo wearing chakra cuffs and being escorted by Naruto of all people to the TNI department, since many did not believe the old war hawk had ever done anything to warrant such a move. Some ninjas started to protest this and would have even moved to get Danzo out of the cuff, but Naruto's glare and sharp killer intent made them back off. It was a reminder to them all who he served that outranked even the Hokages of old. It also reminded them that Konoha was on thin ice with the fire daimyo, and any kind of defiance would just be another nail being pounded down into the coffin. You really think this will stop me, Brad? I may have lost my political seat on the councils when the fire daimyo interfered years ago after taking you in, but the roots beneath the tree still grow deep, remarked Danzo with Naruto smirking despite the cryptic warning. If you think your pathetic drones will come to aid you in your time of need, then don't bother. They won't, said Naruto with Danzo frowning. And you know this how? Asked Danzo curiously. Simple. When the fire daimyo decreed that if he found Konoha had become corrupted from the village it used to be when founded, it would be liquidated. Anyone interfering in my investigation in any shape or form while I am here on his behalf would be charged with treason. Impeding the investigation is not good for Konoha. It just means the fire daimyo will close this place down sooner, while any and all traitors responsible for the village's corruption will be hanged like common criminals. While your root may be loyal to you, Danzo, they also follow the creed you set in doing only what is in the best interest of Konoha. If they were to move against me to save you, it would make them traitors to Konoha, and to Fire Country. It would result in Konoha being shut down. They would be violating the very creed Root was founded on. That you founded it on. You may be their boss when it comes to leading them, Danzo, but in the end, the creed they were trained to follow by you comes first, explained Naruto while Danzo grit his teeth in anger. Damn it. He's right. I conditioned them to follow the most important parts of the creed that Root was made on to the letter. To always do what was in the best interest of Konoha and ensure the village prospers. If they were to free me, the fire daimyo would see it as an act of defiance to his wishes, and end Konoha with a simple command. Even if I were to give the order to break me out of prison, they wouldn't obey the command despite their loyalty to me due to the followings of the creed. Thought Danzo at the idea of having his own principles about Root being used against him. He had hoped through all the chaos that the position of Hokage could somehow still be reached, even with the fire daimyo making Itachi the new Hokage. While everyone was dragging their feet in terms of what to do, Danzo had begun whispering through the ninja ranks how he was really the new Hokage, if only acting as a secret one. He intended to lie about how the fire daimyo had made this decision in secret while Itachi was the official Hokage on paper. That this was done in order to prevent Konoha's enemies lurking just around the corner from ever knowing the truth. Danzo even planned to recruit Shisui to his cause in using the Sharingan again on Itachi before the Uchiha prodigy could even see it coming. Hiruzen had done it to get Tsunade to hate the Kyuubi Jinchuriki, so Danzo knew it could be done again on Itachi if one timed it perfectly. Unfortunately, his overall timing of his actions against Tsunade to reinforce the genjutsu Shisui placed on her had been thrown off due to the Kyuubi Jinchuriki's interference in wanting to see her. The plan was to lock the genjutsu in place with the seal, dishonoring the Senju woman to the point where her misplaced anger toward the Jinchuriki would have forfeited her right to be Hokage in the future should Itachi meet his end sooner than he would have liked. Jiraiya didn't want the position due to his own vices and ways of living. With Tsunade already having the ire of Naruto and the Fire Daimyo made Danzo the next best and only remaining candidate to become the actual Hokage of Konoha. Again, his timing for these things had been miscalculated, a rarity in itself, and Naruto along with his temporarily brought back to like Senju cousins had interfered. Also, I doubt you are the true patriot of Konoha you proclaim yourself to be, Danzo. So don't you dare call yourself one with a straight face. It's an insult to the will of fire, added Naruto while Danzo scowled at him. As if you know anything about the will of fire, brat. Countered Danzo while Naruto smirked at him. Actually, I do know quite a bit about the will of fire. I was told about the will of fire by the two people who helped in the creation of the concept for Konoha. Or has your vision truly failed you regarding just who it was that stopped your action at the hospital? Naruto shot back with Danzo growling in anger. Their version of the will of fire is over. Snuffed out upon their deaths. The world has no place for such naive dreams, remarked Danzo before being jabbed in the back by Naruto. The same could be said for you and Hiruzen's version of it. Your version can't even be called the will of fire because you believe in not having emotions. Fire is an emotion in itself just as it is an element. By your own concept of things, the will of fire isn't a fire at all, but rather a pile of ashes with a few burning embers, countered Naruto with Danzo not liking how his version of the will of fire was considered in such a manner. And I suppose Hiruzen's was a better version? Questioned Danzo with Naruto scoffing at him. Hardly. If anything, he made his own concept regarding the will of fire out to be too hot. It burned almost everyone who got near or tried to touch it. Even those loyal to him were burned by the fire, and only because he made sure no one outside of himself knew how to properly wield it. The man was never one for sharing. He portrayed himself as the caring grandfatherly figure to the young, but deep down he was greed, self-righteous power-hungry asshole, who deserved to die for his past crimes. Your legacy will be no better upon your execution once Ibiki is done with you, remarked Naruto with Danzo not liking that last part. I have done absolutely nothing to warrant an execution. Protested Danzo with Naruto scoffing at him. Oh really? Then you won't mind if Ibiki, Anko, and Inoiki rip your wrinkly old head open to confirm that statement? Questioned Naruto with Danzo staying quiet while his face became a snarl. What is the meaning of this? Demanded Homura, as he along with Koharu were now blocking their way to see Ibiki, and were none too pleased by this. I'm taking this traitor here to Ibiki. He is being charged with treason against Konoha for trying to put an unauthorized seal on Senju Tsunade, answered Naruto with Homura and Koharu scowling, but what caught the blonde's attention was they weren't surprised by what they heard. You have no right to do that, brat, stated Homura while Koharu nodded in agreement. Oh? And who are you to tell me what I can and cannot do? Are you the Fire Daimyo? Asked Naruto with Homura scowling further. No, replied Homura through gritting teeth. Are you the Hokage? Asked Naruto with Homura's scowl deepening. No, replied Homura again with an even more strained voice. Are you either of these things? Asked Naruto to Koharu with the elderly woman shaking her head no. No, replied Koharu in a simple yet miffed tone. Then you have no authority here. Step aside, commanded Naruto with neither obeying. We do not answer to you or your authority, boy. Danzo is a well-respected comrade and loyal patriot of Konoha. Hiruzen may have been forced to bend to the whims of the Fire Daimyo in granting you some form of authority, but we are not so kind as him in regards to obeying such commands, replied Koharu while Naruto scowled at them. You seem very confident in yourself right now despite knowing you are committing treason against the Fire Daimyo by impeding his authority, remarked Naruto while the two seemingly joined at the hip shinobi advisors seemed unafraid of the concept that they could be charged with treason. We will see who is charged with treason by the end of the day, remarked Homura with Naruto sensing they were no longer alone. He was surrounded and by Root Ninja at that. Strange. I assumed they would follow the creed of Root and not interfere knowing what would happen if they do. Apparently, you persuaded them to think otherwise, remarked Naruto while Koharu and Homura smirked while Danzo was feeling more confident he could get out of this. No one loyal to the Fire Daimyo, where they are shinobi or samurai, are in this general area right now. We have blanked this area in a genjutsu to keep prying eyes away from this moment. You will not make it to your intended destination, brat. You will be beaten, restrained, and the official word to the Fire Daimyo was you were attacked by an ambush party of sound nin hiding in wait. You will be reconditioned to be Konoha's weapon and will be our weapon against those that oppose us. Even if that person happens to be the Fire Daimyo himself. It was foolish of him to get involved in your life and shaping it into the very abomination that stands before us, said Koharu while Naruto smirked at her. Do you really think the fire daimyo is going to simply take your word for it? Unlikely given your own stained reputations that are just as filth as Hiruzen's and Danzo's own. He'd sooner trust a pet monkey over you two, remarked Naruto before bringing out his staff and looked around at the number of enemies in front of him. Take him, commanded Homura before wave after wave of root shinobi descended upon Naruto. Naruto smirked despite the situation. Looks like he was going to get a descent workout today after all. Uchiha clan district at the moment, the Uchiha clan was having a massive clan-wide party. For once, after going through 4 Hokages before today, an Uchiha would be made the Gondaime Hokage. And why not? They had earned it. All the years of ridicule, suspicion, and resentment since the Kyuubi's attack made life in Konoha almost unbearable. It was getting really infuriating. But now? Now they had one of their own in the Hokage's chair. Wearing the Hokage robes. The Hokage's hat. Wielding the authority such a title provided as the supreme ruler of Konoha, fire daimyo notwithstanding, while commanding all of its ninja to obey the one wearing the hat. So it was quite shocking to see the appointed Uchiha for Hokage walking through the Uchiha district with the former second Hokage. Both with serious looks on their faces. Granted, the looks were always serious, but this was more so than usual, and it made a few partiers curious to what was going on. They soon found out when Itachi and Tobirama walked up to Uchiha Shisui, who just so happened to be talking to Uchiha Fugaku, and the rest of the Uchiha clan head's family. Itachi. Tobirama-sama. What an unexpected surprise. We were just talking about you, my son, said Fugaku while Itachi nodded while Tobirama just looked on from a few feet back with his arms crossed. I am afraid I cannot stay for the festivities, father. Important work as the Hokage has just come up. Hence why I am here, replied Itachi while gazing slightly at Shisui, who was feeling a little nervous for some reason. Really? What business? Maybe we can help, offered Fugaku, since the Uchiha police force helping the Hokage would only be beneficial at this point. You can help me by arresting Shisui for treason and using his bloodline on another clan within Konoha, commanded Itachi while the Uchiha in question being charged was now looking pale. All of which went unnoticed by Fugaku, who considered it a joke of some kind, and was laughing hysterically. Shisui? Under arrest? Ha! That is a good one, son, exclaimed Fugaku, who was finding it hard to stop laughing right now. I don't think he's joking, Fugaku, said Mikoto while she saw Itachi staring intently at Shisui with his Sharingan eyes now active. Indeed I am not. As the new Hokage, my first official act is to arrest Uchiha Shisui for using his Sharingan eyes to cast a genjutsu on Senju Tsunade on the command from my predecessor Sarutobi Hiruzen, replied Itachi while Shisui began to back up a bit. It was an official order, Itachi. You have no grounds to arrest me, remarked Shisui while the mood within the Uchiha clan became more serious after hearing that. The order was illegal and you know it, Shisui. The Konoha charter forbids any clan from using genjutsu on another clan of Konoha, even if the given Hokage of the time made it an order, stated Itachi while Shisui narrowed his eyes. It was for the good of Konoha. Tsunade was going to take the Kyuubi Jinchuriki out of the village to raise on her own. Sandaime-sama wanted the brat contained in Konoha to be molded as a submissive weapon, said Shisui with Itachi narrowing his eyes at him. I know. Tsunade told us about the meeting after I broke the genjutsu. Her family is most displeased, Shisui. One of which is standing behind me, remarked Itachi with Shisui now looking between pissed off and scared. Don't you realize what you've done? Questioned Shisui angrily with Itachi nodding. Yes, I certainly do, Shisui. I am giving Tsunade this one and only chance at redemption to form bonds with her only godson. A godson you manipulated with your eyes to make her hate Naruto so he would never be loved by those that would give it to him the most, replied Itachi with Shisui snarling at him. No, you fool. You are ruining everything Hiruzen and Danzo had planned for Konoha. You are ruining everything that will make Konoha great again, exclaimed Shisui, as he moved to flee, but was struck hard in the torso by the speed of Tobirama, and his fist hitting the Uchiha hard. Hiruzen is dead. His legacy died with him. Danzo will soon join my former student for his actions in trying to make your genjutsu permanent, replied Tobirama before he took some chakra cuffs he had with him and bound the stunned Uchiha. Itachi. This is madness. Stop this right now, commanded Fugaku while Itachi looked at his father with deadly eyes. All Mikoto and Sasuke could do was watch events unfold before them while finding that they themselves were feeling like they could do absolutely nothing. You may be my father and the Uchiha clan head, but I do not answer to you in either way as Hokage. The fire daimyo made it clear that you would have no such power over me and to try would not be tolerated, replied Itachi with his Sharingan eyes spinning at his father. Someone stop them, exclaimed Shisui, with many of the Uchiha now unsure what to do at this point. Any Uchiha here who tries to stop us will be considered accessories and will be charged as well for crimes against Konoha, said Itachi, with many around him backing down. How can you arrest him? He's an Uchiha? Like you, demanded Sasuke at last. You make it sound like I should let his crimes go unpunished simply because he is an Uchiha? Questioned Itachi, with Sasuke glaring at him. Of course you should. You are the Hokage, so let him go, demanded Sasuke, with Itachi shaking his head. Foolish little brother. Even if I wanted to do what you are suggesting, Sasuke, the fire daimyo has already been made aware of Shisui's involvement in this conspiracy. To not do what is right will spell doom for Konoha as a whole. The Uchiha clan is not above the law. As members of its police force, you must enforce the law as it is, and the law is clear when it comes to using a genjutsu on someone from another clan. Unless the genjutsu is meant to help, heal, or aid someone in recovery of an injury, it cannot be used on anyone within Konoha. Since Shisui used his eyes on Tsunade to make her hate Naruto so she wouldn't raise him, what he did was one of the highest crimes committed. It is an insult to the Uchiha clan's very honor as a clan and as part of the police force. Any who support Shisui or his conspirators clearly have no clan honor and will be arrested as well before being executed. Decide, stated Itachi, while the entire clan hearing this looked at each other while Shisui looked at them with pleading eyes. Come on. Get me free. Fight them. You outnumber these Bakas 10-1, exclaimed Shisui in a pleading tone. Quantity means nothing without the necessary quality to back it up, Uchiha, remarked Toburama before making the Uchiha march towards the Tsunade department. All the while, Shisui was pleading for his fellow clan members to save him, and finding his pleas being ignored by all. You just made your very first mistake as Hokage by doing this, Itachi. You have made the entire Uchiha clan your enemy from now on, remarked Fugaku while Itachi glanced at his father. On the contrary, I just saved Konoha, and the entire Uchiha clan from being liquidated in its entirety. Or did you forget the fire daimyo is not tolerating this village's arrogance any longer? Countered Itachi before handing him a scroll with the daimyo seal on it. What's this? Asked Fugaku, with Itachi walking away. Orders. Orders regarding what the fire daimyo would have done had you or anyone else in the clan tried to stop us, answered Itachi before he vanished in a swirl of leaves while his father read the orders and went pale. What orders? What is he talking about? Asked Sasuke in a semi-arrogant tone. The fire daimyo has decreed all conspirators in Konoha who are against Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto and those who put Senju Tsunade in that genjutsu to be traitors of Konoha. Any and all traitors are to be killed in a public execution along with any who oppose the executions, for they will be labeled as traitors too. If enough of these traitors happen to be from clans, they will be reduced in number down to the low double digits to single digits depending on just how many are against his actions in the next couple of months, replied Fugaku, knowing that if they did protest or stop Shisui from being taken away, the fire daimyo would wipe out most of his clan. And something told Fugaku that Itachi would just stand there in the distance while letting it happen. It's all that Naruto guy's fault. He's making my life and the lives within the Uchiha clan horrible. He's making Itachi run our clan through the mud as Hokage, even though it should be the opposite. I don't care if Naruto is some kind of messenger for the daimyo. If I see an opening, I will end him. Thought Sasuke angrily while acknowledged the throbbing loss of his arm. After the fighting ended, Sasuke was having his arm, or rather the lack of one, being examined by a doctor, when his father came to take him home. The Anbu protested this at first, but Fugaku used his eldest son's new position as Hokage to get his youngest into his custody to get proper treatment. Sasuke was happy his father cared and had been enjoying Itachi's and now the Uchiha clan's success at the seat of power. Until now, that is, with this arrest. It was right here and now that Sasuke realized his brother had no true loyalty to the clan, but to an outsider, and the feudal lord who supported them. Sasuke knew he needed to do something soon one day, or else the clan would not see the glory days it believed would come. In Sasuke's mind, the Namikaze had to die. With Naruto, the blonde Namikaze was panting heavily. Bodies of the root shinobi sent to subdue him were on the ground. Broken. Bleeding. Most of them dead. Danzo was on his knees, his one visible arm was shattered in 6 places after a root nin got him out of the chakra cuffs, and he reached for the sword hidden in his cane. The sword itself was broken too, along with 3 of his ribs, and one of his kneecaps was shattered. Every root shinobi that went to retrieve Danzo was struck down by Naruto and his bojutsu skills mixed with taijutsu. The fire temple monks trained him well. Unfortunately, he had only gone through a little over half of them with plenty more to go, plus the 2 shinobi advisors, though Naruto seriously doubted they would be a threat given how they traded in their ninja skills for political ones. And yet, he kept on grinning despite being tired, as his body, Despite being strong for his age, had been strained during the fighting of all the Sound Nin a few days ago, and had yet to fully recover all of his strength when fighting the Sandaime Hokage. Clearly his enemies knew this and felt this would be the best if not only time to stop him from doing whatever it was he was doing with the Fire Daimyo's support. It's over, Jinchuriki. We have won, stated Homura while Naruto just laughed. Hardly, you old fossil. I am not defeated and I have successfully held my ground despite the overwhelming numbers against me, countered Naruto with Homura frowning angrily at him. Such naive hope in thinking that you will come out of this battle the victor. This is why you are defective as you are now. We will have to take special measure to ensure your mind does not think like that ever again, remarked Koharu, as she wanted the Jinchuriki to be in a constant state of depression, submissive to all commands, and believing that his life was worthless no matter what. Then come get me yourself. Don't send your pawns to do the dirty job that is treason for you. Of course, given how weak and frail you probably are, it is no surprise you don't have the skills to do anything outside of brushing your teeth, and wiping your own ass. Countered Naruto with Koharu bristling in rage at the disrespect. Rip out his tongue. A weapon does not have the right to have a voice or speak against its wielders, commanded Koharu with Naruto smirking at her while making a come and get me hand motion, before turning it into flipping the bird. If Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto was going down, he was going down smiling, and with as many of these bastards as possible. Of course, before the remaining root shinobi could do as ordered, everyone felt the high-level genjutsu cast to keep this fight a secret was now broken, and one Senju Hashirama along with Tsunade made their appearance known. Neither looking happy. We were wondering why Naruto had not returned from dropping Danzo off to the T&I department, so we felt the need to investigate, remarked Hashirama while glancing at the root shinobi on the ground and waiting to attack. Hashirama-sensei, you do not understand, we, pleaded Homura, but was silenced by the cold glare sent his way by the former Shadaime Hokage. I understand enough. I understand you would usurp the current Fire Daimyo, pervert the will of fire, and you more than likely went along with the plan by your former teammate Hiruzen to have my granddaughter kept under the genjutsu to hate Naruto-kun here. I can also imagine you supported Danzo's desire to keep it locked in place with that seal as Root Nin was preparing when we interrupted him, said Hashirama while Homura and Koharu glancing at each other nervously. Bastards. Both of you. You speak of doing what is best for Konoha, but the whole time it was just for the select few like yourselves in power. You are just a bunch of fucking hypocrites, exclaimed Tsunade while Hashirama put a hand on her shoulder. Language, Tsunade. Just because you are a full-grown adult doesn't mean I'll tolerate the kind of foul language while I'm around, scolded Hashirama while Naruto's sweat dropped. Seriously? I've been fighting these guys in secret, revealed their treasonous actions, and the one thing he's frowning upon is Tsunade's choice of foul language? Thought Naruto while wondering what was wrong with his cousin clan. Then again, Naruto was sure the Uzumaki clan had problems too, so he couldn't exactly be judgmental. Karen's temper at all things related to women having bigger breasts than her was one of them. The will of fire is for the elite of Konoha. Those who understand the power behind the flame. Who can wield it like a weapon. Everyone else is just wood and kindled to keep it alive. The citizens, the shinobi, and even the clans regardless of their so-called prestige are meant to be sacrificed to ensure the fire keeps burning. You and everyone else are to do your duty while we wield the power behind the flame and smite all of our enemies with it, said Homura like he was reciting from some of religious text. That is not what the will of fire is, you fool. Never, did I teach you, Hiruzen, or Koharu in that fashion. You twisted my teachings in order to justify your actions because you knew that it was the only way to keep the concept of what you were doing to the village from being considered wrong by others. You never could stand the fact you could be wrong about something. Either of you, countered Hashirama while Homura, Koharu, and Danzo scowled at his accusations. Even if they were true. Not that they would ever admit it. Your way of doing things is over, sensei. The time has come for the will of fire to purge the enemies of Konoha from within and without. You are no longer worthy to wield the power of the flame. You must burn like everyone else, said Koharu while Hashirama slowly clenching his fists. If I'm not worthy, then why are your roots so afraid to finish me with their so-called fire? Asked Hashirama while glancing at the clearly nervous root shinobi around them. What are you waiting for? Kill the two Senju, commanded Koharu while the root shinobi around them hesitated in obeying. Foolish old bat. You really think these root shinobi are going to challenge one of the key founders of Konoha? Not only is it suicide on their part, but their deaths will just weaken Konoha, and the creed of root clearly prevents them from doing something that would threaten Konoha's future. The lack of manpower for Konoha to defend itself due to the death of its ninja or being severely injured in a fight is one of those things, remarked Naruto while smirking at Danzo, since the creed the war hawk used when forming it was both a strength and a weakness. You are a liar. Danzo has sent plenty of root shinobi on impossible missions and most never came back from them alive, countered Homura with Naruto smirking. True, but only because he had plenty of shinobi to replace them at the time, so ordering his root nin to march to their deaths wasn't an issue. Not so anymore. Konoha is being purged of this corrupt fire. You, the old bitch, and old war hawk here have been trying to spread like a plague through Konoha. To put it simply, Konoha has become diseased with corruption, and the fire daimyo has assigned me to be the cure. Whether by cutting out the disease altogether, or just burning the body to the ground and start from scratch with what is left that can be saved, answered Naruto with his eyes locked onto Homura's and making it known the order and all-out burning of this village was on standby ready to be signed should it come to that. You're bluffing, was Homura's natural response to this claim, despite his mind telling him denial of this fact wasn't going to help. Keep resisting and find out, countered Naruto while almost looking each to have them call his supposed bluff so it could blow up in their faces. The genjutsu is lost. We need to retreat before ninja loyal to them show up, whispered Koharu while glaring angrily at Naruto. If you are thinking about running along with your remaining root shinobi, don't bother trying, replied Hashirama before snapping his fingers, and a swarm of Konoha shinobi surrounded them along with a contingent of the fire daimyo samurai coming out of the alleyways with swords drawn. So that's why it was taking you guys so long to get here while I was fighting, remarked Naruto with Hashirama smirking now along with his granddaughter. I may be a temporarily brought back to life Senju and a former Hokage of Konoha, but I'm not without my brains Gaki, remarked Hashirama confidently. I can see your point. Arrest all of these root shinobi, Danzo, Koharu, and Homura for treason. If they resist, make them regret it, said Naruto with the Konoha shinobi and the fire daimyo samurai moved in to take them all into custody. I think you just made a Viki's and Anko's day, remarked Tsunade while Naruto smirked since he knew the two were going to probably send him. Thank you. Cards for this. I do what I can when it matters, said Naruto, though his smirk left him when he turned to fully face Tsunade. Listen, Naruto, I just want to say, said Tsunade before Naruto stopped her with his hand raised. You don't have to apologize, Tsunade. People you trusted conspired against me and used you to be their pawn. You lived for over a decade in a genjutsu reinforced lie. Knowing that truth and what could have been had that not been the case is punishment for you. I am not going to hate for what happened, because that would be like how most of the villagers in Konoha hate me for something the Kyuubi did when under the genjutsu the masked Uchiha pulled with his eyes, replied Naruto while seeing Tsunade sigh in relief at him letting things go. I would like to be your godmother again, Naruto. A true godmother. Please grant me this honor, Naruto, pleaded Tsunade before she did the one thing no one expected her to do when asking for this. She got on her knees and bowed her head. Tsunade. To do what you are doing while asking for this takes courage. You truly are my granddaughter, thought Hashirama while smiling at his child's child. Get up, Tsunade. No godmother of mine is going to get on her knees and beg, replied Naruto with Tsunade looking at him with teary eyes and got off the ground. What do you want to do now, Naruto-kun? Asked Hashirama while Naruto sighed, as he ran a hand through his hair, and looked at them. I'm not going to lie to you, Hashirama-sama. Konoha was to be judged by me in terms of its survival. When I first came here after spending quite a few years being protected by the fire daimyo and being trained to be a combination of 3 different entities, Konoha was on life support. The people hated me, the councils, and the Hokage wanted me under thumb. Hell, my first day back I stopped the rape being committed on the Inuzuka clan matriarch's daughter by a couple of Chonin and Jounin simply because they thought they could. As time passed, I saw so much hatred and corruption that I thought it would be a slam dunk decision to inform the fire daimyo to march his army in here to purge the village of almost everyone in it, replied Naruto with Hashirama frowning when he heard this, and so did Tsunade, since it was clear Konoha had lost a lot of its will of fire. I sense a but in there somewhere, said Tsunade with Naruto nodding. But, I also saw light among the darkness. I saw a select number of people who were not corrupted like many had been around them. I saw kindness. I saw hope. I saw the will of fire in its purest form. If I gave the order to the fire daimyo to destroy this place, I would be destroying that purity, and cannot in good consciousness do that. I see a very slim chance of Konoha changing for the better. Over the years, this village has become arrogant, fat, and lazy off its own hype. The only way to trim the fat and whip Konoha back into shape is to humble the village regardless if they like it or not. Meaning it needs to take a hit every once in a while, and this is one of those times, finished Naruto with Hashirama and Tsunade nodding. With everything that has happened recently just now, Itachi will need 2 new shinobi advisors to help him guide the village to that promised day, said Hashirama with Naruto nodding before they both looked at Tsunade. What? You mean me? Oh no. 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 I am not advisor material. Not with my track record, protested Tsunade with Naruto shaking his head at her. Who else? There are 2 spots now open. Why wouldn't you be one of them? Itachi will need someone to help him on internal matters through the village. You can do that while making sure your medical program stays the course. As for the second option, Jiraiya will have to be the next one, said Naruto with Tsunade looking less than happy. Jiraiya? That pervert? He hated you before I did and his hatred wasn't caused by any genjutsu from a Sharingan, exclaimed Tsunade hotly while Naruto sighed. True, but after living these last couple of years in a humble and hermit-based lifestyle has done wonders for his mentality. Not to mention it was through his spy network that we were able to coordinate a counter-offensive against Orochimaru and Hiruzen when they set their plan in motion. It took a major kick in the ass, but the man has definitely seen the light. Will I ever call him Godfather in my lifetime? Probably not. But he does care about Konoha. Granted his actions in proving it were misplaced, thanks to the third Hokage being a power-hungry asshole. Sorry Hashirama-sama, but it is true. I also firmly believe Jiraiya's talents could be useful in helping Itachi with external matters because he can run his spy network easily enough to provide our new Hokage with intel in order to run the village better. To ensure this works properly, he will need to properly train a new spy master, who goes out into the field, and communicates with those spies. It will take time and effort, but I'm confident this will help Konoha prosper, and become what it once was during Hashirama's time, countered Naruto with Tsunade reluctantly admitting to herself that Jiraiya's talents were second to none and could be a serious benefit to Konoha if used correctly. Fine. But if that pervert tries anything, I reserve the right to deck his face in, and send him flying out of the meeting room, stated Tsunade with Naruto smirking. Fair enough, replied Naruto since Tsunade's stipulation wasn't too bad. Excellent. Now that this issue has been resolved, let's do an inspection of Konoha, and see what else needs to be fixed and was ignored under my former student's watch as its Hokage, said Hashirama before wrapping his arms around both ninja and walked them around Konoha while Tsunade looked embarrassed by his antics. Honestly grandfather, you are too cheery for your own good, remarked Tsunade while her grandfather now had a semi-evil look in his eyes. Oh really? Maybe I should tell Naruto here how you made your very first bet and lost at the age of 8. What was it you lost that day? Your favorite slug plushie Mrs. Wheezy Squeeze? Questioned Hashirama while Tsunade blushed an atomic red and glared at him for it. Don't you dare mention that, exclaimed Tsunade before Hashirama ran away from her with Naruto under his arm while telling the tale of how she made and lost her first bet. Oh you should have seen Tsunade's face Naruto-kun. She was so upset at losing her favorite slug plushie. She cried and cried, bawling her eyes out and saying I want Mrs. Wheezy Squeeze. To me since I was the one she lost the bet to. Little did I know the reason she was so upset over losing said plushie was due to the secret stash of money she had been hoarding there over the past couple weeks from my own wallet, said Hashirama while running away from a now angry Tsunade and explaining things to Naruto. Get back here. You may be my grandfather, but that won't stop me from killing you after I'm done kicking your back from the dead ass, yelled Tsunade, as she chased after them with fury and fire in her eyes with the promise of unleashing pain upon her grandfather. Don't listen to her Naruto. She's still upset I never gave back Mrs. Wheezy Squeeze after all this time. Did I mention Tsunade-chan slept with said plushie and would drool all over it? The poor thing was more soaked than dry on many occasions, exclaimed Hashirama before he dodged a lamppost Tsunade had just thrown at him. I'll kill you, yelled Tsunade before throwing more things at her grandfather. Yep. I knew it. My cousin clan is just as screwed up as my own clan. It is how you can tell we are related. I can't wait to get out of this situation and go see Gaara along with his sister at the Namikaze estates to fix his seal. I just hope Temari and Karen haven't killed each other. Or Gaara hasn't killed anyone, thought Naruto knowing this was going to be a long chase and day of his life. Thanks for listening, goodbye.